Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 823 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and we got a really special episode today. But first, let's introduce you guys to Chris DeBona.
Hey.
And Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
Gentlemen, we have exciting news for you guys today.
What is it?
You guys made a video game.
Yeah, and we actually let other people play it.
I mean, more people now.
Yeah, for sure.
Although a lot of people have played it already.
Well, we've had decent populations. Like I was playing last night with a bunch of friends, and on US East 2, and this is when it had, I think, 72 people playing at one time on that server. So very exciting. If I look distracted, it's because I've got the system monitor for the services, the database monitor, and then the overall game monitor that John wrote. So,
and just to be clear, the game is called Fractured Veil.
That's right.
You guys have been working on it for how long?
8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, it was just on that side when I was at a former company, but yeah,
it kind of got to become your main in the last 12 months.
Year, it's been really upping the amount of work.
All right. Well, that's pretty great. So everybody, all of our subscribers should immediately go to Steam and buy it. You don't even have to play it, but definitely buy it.
Yeah, definitely buy it. You know, it's funny because if you look at the reviews, they're like, so the thing about Steam reviews is it's usually about a quarter negative, even for like Portal 2. But like, so our negatives are like, they should have waited, and then another one was like, talking about Jesus or something. And then but our wish list went up yesterday, Robert, like by 1,000, by like 10 times, 13 times our returns. I'm like, what does that mean? I think it means that people are like, tell me when you're further along, I'll play. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take it, and it's like, it's kind of the perfect launch for me because I didn't want to have a big crazy launch. I just wanted something I could keep an eye on and manage, So yeah, so far so good,
Yeah.
I'm slow and steady.
My favorite negative review so far was, nah.
Yeah, it's like,
and that was it.
I'm like, well, okay.
All right, cool.
We're cool.
Succinct. I like succinctness.
Yep. We don't need to hang. It's cool. Cool. I appreciate the and clearly you enjoy expressing yourself in inscrutable ways. So.
Well, that's the comment section, right? It's the 90-10 rule follows in so many ways.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about game stuff, or do you want to go and talk about the zone?
I can talk about the zone.
Yeah, let's talk about the zone.
All right. Did we do AI Carlin? I think that was our last story.
I thought we did, or maybe I just saw it.
I don't know if we talked about it or not. But
let's talk about it.
His estate is suing now.
Yeah, that just happened today.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that part.
Yeah, when this so we linked the story or the video, and the thing about this is that they are clearly identifying it as a work of AI. So there's no like, this is fraud exactly. But it's not him, it's not his writing, and the family is not happy, and they put out a very angry message following the release of the special. And I mean, the special isn't anything great. It's fine, I guess. It seemed like, I listened to like 5 minutes of it, and it all seemed kind of obvious, and Carlin wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a big George Carlin fan, but at the end he did kind of get a little ranty, a little focused on, a couple certain things.
Yeah.
But I love the guy, and this makes me feel weird.
Yeah. There's been a lot of these AI related stories. I'm freaked out about it. There's been a few stories too lately about people that are just showing up and like advertising. There was one I just saw yesterday. It was a Jennifer Aniston video, which is a complete deep fake of her with her voice and it was her advertising for something or other done without her permission. And it was like, fill out this survey to win a big prize. And like that stuff's just going to be everywhere.
What was it, this week or last week, that they had the robocall Biden to people in New Hampshire telling him not to vote?
Yeah.
And yet he won.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird world. What do we got here? We got a Tasmanian garden wins the prize for the ugliest lawn. This is a Rob story if ever I've seen one.
I love that picture.
Just the picture is the thing that's the choice for it.
And I have a fundamental problem with HOAs to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a libertarian, but if I have a house, Marge down the road, can F off about what sort of plants I have in my backyard and how tall my fence is.
Well, this lady, her yard is just a couple of scrubs, a little bit of scrub grass here and there. That's fine.
It's native, it absorbs water. I mean, they have tons of problems with that in big city now because they've stripped out all the natural plant life, paved it, and now they flood
and poured fertilizer on it by the truckload. I don't do anything to my lawn except mow it. And that seems like a bit much. Like I wish I didn't have to even mow it, or maybe just like mow it once a year. That'd be fun.
Sure.
But I think the HOA in my neighborhood would get grumpy with me. And so we'll not have that. That lady's garden is awesome. We had this story in there, but it's a little bit old now, but this is the Amazon story where they were having AI named products show up. And the products selling, there were hundreds of them. It was, I cannot fulfill this request. It goes against OpenAI use policy.
Yep.
So that was
like 4 of those.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Seeing how the bots are overrunning Amazon is pretty amazing. Like you see it in Google, but you expect Amazon to care a little more. Google obviously they let that ship sail a decade ago. But you'd think that Amazon would be optimizing for profit, and this seems like it would not be good. Oh, good. Let's sign up.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon, it's like a sine wave. They care about the marketplace. They don't. They care. They don't. It's okay.
It's such a weird thing too, because
like inversely related with, and we're making this much more money in AWS, and we're not. Oh, now we are. Yeah. It's like,
okay. I think that they've pretty clearly demonstrated that just by watching what sells, they just have so much advantage in the marketplace that it just doesn't matter anymore. I don't know. There's so much weird corporate extortion. It just makes me sad. I don't want to be grumpy. You know what would suck? If you had a Tesla and it was -6 degrees out and so it wouldn't charge.
Yeah, that's rough. I feel for him. I mean, it's easy to indulge in a bit of schadenfreude. You're like, well, what did you expect from a battery? But it's just people wanting to get to work and stuff. So I feel for him. But yeah, apparently it was so bad that the superchargers froze.
Yeah.
And got into a state where they couldn't charge, or no, I know what it is. It's the Tesla's like, okay, thanks for the power. I'm going to charge you really slow to warm the battery up. Then I'll turn it on higher. And people just thought it was dead, because it was poorly communicating with the user. So it's like, yeah.
I mean, it's like the gas shortage in the 70s.
Well, it does smell like that. Dead cars and freezing cool. Right. I like the line though. A bunch of dead robots.
Yep, dead robots. That's a fun one. Not for them, because they're now stuck at a gas station that's -6 degrees out.
And also, I feel for this guy right here, because that shit's heavy.
Right.
The thing about Teslas is they are dense fire plugs of cars.
And as I witnessed, did we talk about this? How there was a fire near my house where two electric cars lit on fire.
Yeah, they fought for dominance over the house.
Yeah. It didn't work out too well for that house. The owner
and a Tesla, right?
Yeah, and the owner of the house had retired like a week earlier.
Oh no!
Oh man! But no, I guess I always like, I don't have an electric car. I know my next car will almost for sure be one, but I would park it in the garage. And I know not everybody has that luxury, of course, but like I would be scared to leave it outside.
See, I would be the opposite.
In Michigan.
Because, you know, in California, we had remodeled, and when we remodeled, we changed the shape of the garage. And so they're like, oh yeah, we have to do this and this and this for fire code in case there's a fire in your car. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right?
Sure.
And you know, garages, there's more fire. It's like, cool, I get it, right? And then I was like, well, if I got an electric car, would I ever want it inside the house? You know, because if you have a runaway battery situation,
yeah,
putting that sucker out, you know, I might as well have it burn in the driveway and protect the house. So I don't know that I would be comfortable leaving it in the house.
Well, here's my question: how many cars light on fire in a garage every year?
You know, a fair number.
A non-zero number.
A non-zero number, right?
So is this just media hype that's causing us to have a fear for a new thing?
I mean, that's what Elon would say, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the math is.
I think that it's high enough that the proportional number for the number of electric cars is now to the point where you're like, okay, well, if even half as many electric cars catch on fire as gas cars,
yeah,
that's going to be a non-zero number. And it's kind of like the downside risk. It's so much higher because it's so much harder to put out. You know,
for sure, it's really dangerous.
You know, it's like, okay, well, if it's harder to put out, you know,
they had a dozen fire trucks
living in the forest. You know, you have a defensible zone, so you have the place where you can park a gas car, a case where you can park an electric car,
and then the bike lot,
and then the bike lot, yeah, right in front of the Tesla, so they can.
Everybody remember, we're parked in the itchy lot.
The itchy lot.
So they found on the equator of Mars a 2-mile thick chunk of ice.
That's incredible.
So that'll be cool.
Wow. To cover the entire planet in a shallow ocean if melted. But it's underground, right? So we just go back there.
Yeah, it'd fall back in the hole.
Yeah, in the hole.
Go back in your hole.
But if you could take the entire top layer of Mars down,
shrink the planet,
and you put the water on top of it, you know, just like,
you know. Or just like drain it and then cork it. Like just put a plug. Put a plug over the hole.
People just want to pave Mars, right? Like a big parking lot in the sky.
And I live in a city. I live in a city where they want to pave everything anyway.
You could put the Teslas there, and if they catch on fire,
that's a good parking lot.
It's a big parking lot.
That's safe. If we ship the Teslas to Mars, and honestly, Elon was trying. He already shot one Tesla into space.
Yeah, right. It was just he was trying to find a safe place to park it.
Tesla is just really it's Elon's long-term plan to solve the parking problem.
Yeah,
that'll be fine. In another space story, there's been a couple of moon launches recently, neither of which went particularly well. But one of them had the DNA of Arthur C. Clarke. It didn't make it to the moon, so instead it fell back and burned up on atmospheric reentry. And then
Peregrine, yeah, that makes sense. Peregrine.
Yeah. And then another one is apparently going off into deep space with Gene Roddenberry's ashes. And that's just going to go off. And
did we talk about the Native American protests against landing on the moon? Or whatever?
We didn't. There was a protest that the moon is sacred to them, and it can't be soiled by ashes. And that kind of made me feel weird.
Well, I mean, the reality is that's just dumb. You know, the whole world is a carnal house. You know, every planet is just covered in dead biomatter. Okay,
that's true. And I guess the moon is sterile.
It's not religious. I'm sorry. You know.
Well, I have a hard time taking any magical thinking too seriously. But
I mean, if anyone should talk about their connection to the moon, it should be like horseshoe crabs or other things that, you know, mating cycles and breeding cycles are based on.
Werewolves.
On high tides.
Aren't druids the classic moon worshippers?
Yeah.
You know, druids and covens of Wicca or whatever.
Yeah. I think a lot of religion probably has the moon as being a sacred thing.
But they've probably also registered a protest, but they're not as popular. That's like, I wish people would notice our complaints. Yeah. I only want to notice the first people's complaints. And it's like, sorry, druids.
Big druid is more like medium-sized druid at best,
right?
You know?
Well, the flying spaghetti monster needs the moon for its noodly mission.
It's an noodly mission, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many religions. More power to people if they find comfort in it.
But as Magnum points out, our breeding cycles are connected to moon cycles. I mean,
yeah. So the Peregrine mission was interesting because that was Astrobotics payload, right? Astrobotics is that the Israel one or the Pittsburgh one? Pittsburgh, yeah. So this is at a CMU with Red Whitaker. So Red is like this. You know how Burt Rutan was for aviation? Red is for space. He's known as like this incredible thinker in space mechanics and design of rockets. And I mean, he's not, Werner von Braun, but I mean, he's pretty important. And so he started Astrobotics 2007, and he's a neat guy, really neat guy,
But apparently not so good at like aiming the spaceship.
Well, you know how it goes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm glib, but like space travel is like hard, like really hard.
It's classically hard. And was this the first one on the Vulcan rocket? I think it was, right? So the ULA's
a lot of variables.
Yeah. So no. That's good though, because the Vulcan got him into space, and he got to space, and something didn't move, and that's it.
Womp, womp.
I mean, being able to control its descent and burn up in the atmosphere, it's classic Red. He's like, well, okay, it's not going where it needs to go, so let's make sure it doesn't go where it shouldn't go. So yeah, he's a sharp guy.
Do you guys want to make some money, like $138,000?
This is a crypto thing.
This is somebody scanned in money from you buy the tourist bags of shredded money. And they were using computer vision to scan it in, and
nice.
And this story was funny because apparently
that's a classic.
The numbers were wrong. Like there's arguably a lawsuit in this just because it doesn't actually contain what it claimed to claim or contain.
The shredded bag didn't.
Yeah, and
like, listen, I reassembled them, and something's missing.
It's not. You told me that this was supposed to be $1 million or whatever the numbers were. Wow. So good on this guy, but I wonder if that means that someday they'll stop selling bags of shredded money at gift shops. Because this article actually said that they stopped doing it at this one particular place.
Well, they were ripping people off. There wasn't a complete bank, though.
Yeah, no, you can't.
That's got to be intentional, because when you get the big bag of shredded money, they'd be like, okay, is this like the real bag? They're like, oh, yeah, it's totally complete.
When I was making pens all the time,
an eighth of a bill.
People would sell they would sell pen blanks with money in resin. And I made a few of those, but they look stupid.
Yeah, I mean, they just look like shredded green paper.
I mean, they look like kind of just gross. They don't look good.
And it smells like glitter for some reason.
I wouldn't know. Anosmia pride, baby.
The dollar bills.
Yeah. Guys, a Colorado pastor has been charged for a cryptocurrency scam that he perpetrated at God's command.
I didn't know God was so into crypto.
I know, and this is really what I was excited about
love
too.
Molly White. She's so funny.
Yeah,
these are so darn funny.
And this story has been going for a while too. Like he got his church to buy like $1 million worth of crypto so he could buy a house. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty blatant.
Well, it's what from what I remember on the story, it's what God told him to do.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, God told him to rip off his flock. And he's got the same mic as us. So that's cool. Although I've got a better arm,
Oh, see, I got a different mic.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go. Oh, for our podcast audience,
crappier mic than us. Yeah.
For our podcast audience, a listening audience, I just held my microphone up to the camera, and it's the same mic that I recorded Geeks of Space on in like the year 2000.
Yeah, I've got the classic SM58. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. I'm not sure if it should be pointing this way or but yeah. And I got like a low profile arm because the one that was over here got in the way of the new monitor I wanted to get.
Oh man, it's a whole thing. Let's see. Oh, the Japanese moonlander landed, but apparently landed upside down. But the coolest thing about this one is that it had a rover, and the rover got to roll away and take a picture of it.
That's cool.
Like the rover still got out.
I'd call this a success. I wonder if the river tried to like headbutt it like a cat.
Just knock it over.
Is the river named Nico? Because that would be even better.
I want treats.
So a little Neko cat.
Give me some treats.
That'd be so cute. But yeah.
Anyway, they said that it was it's a funny story because they were saying it's the most precise moon landing. Like the spot they aimed for, they hit it. Like they hit their mark perfectly, but they landed upside down, which is pretty awesome.
The Moon Sniper. That's a great name. Moon Sniper with its pet cat.
Bam.
All right.
Well, good for them. We have a story about
yeah, the helicopter's got some propeller damage, so it's officially grounded.
Done. But it got like, what did they say, like 70 missions or something? And it went like 10 times more distance than it was rated for. It was so cool.
10 times more distance. And also, they only thought it would fly like once or twice max.
Yeah.
But they got
pretty freaking cool. Way to go, little trooper.
I got like 2 minutes. So
we got a story about rehabilitating foul-mouthed parrots. This is Rob's.
Yeah, the plan is they got, I guess, like 5 or 6 really bad swearing parrots. So they think if they move them in with 300 parrots, the 300 parrots will teach them noises like cars backing up and doorbells, and they'll be fine. Although I don't think they've thought about how often people laugh to swearing parrots and give them positive reinforcement. So my prediction is soon they will have 300 swearing parrots to sue. But we'll see.
Yep, the fuck virus. It's definitely spreading. Because damn it, if my parrot swears, I'm giving it the cracker. The other one that we have, but we should definitely just mention is apparently today, the 26th. There's some argument on this, but it is the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. There are some people who say that it was a couple of days later, but regardless, we've logged some times playing Dungeons and Dragons. This is before it even got advanced. I think this is like primitive Dungeons and Dragons,
just basic and expert sets.
I mean, not for nothing, I recognize these paperwork.
And no one knows because we still don't have the initiative logs from back then, so we don't know when it actually came out.
Right. We also don't understand what sadist invented Thaco.
Thaco, baby.
There seems like there should have been an easier way.
Well, I mean,
it made sense.
Sure.
I mean, you really can't do it without D&D Beyond, right? Sitting there helping you out. It's such it can get thick. That's all I'm saying. So,
yeah, those first few editions of rules are a lot. I know, Rob, you have them like committed to like a memory that's just amazing, but man, everything is complicated.
I used to have the insanity table memorized.
Nice.
That says something about you.
I went deep. I went deep in that.
Useful. We want to wrap up?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody buy Fractured Veil. It's on Steam now. Make Rob and Chris happy.
On sale for $20. So
sweet.
Go buy it. Enjoy
Go buy it. Rob's lore is hidden in there.
It is early access. So awesome. Yeah, but it's actually, we were having a really good time last night. So
that's awesome. I downloaded it right before we started this, so I'm looking forward to playing it after my afternoon shenanigans.
Wow, that's really great.
Congratulations to both of you. I know you worked really hard.
Yeah, but it's just getting started.
Yeah. Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Bye.
I was Rob Commander Taco Malda, and that was episode 800 and something or other of Geeks in Space, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.